Rachel Allen didn't just run from rural Tennessee. She launched herself into a world with nothing but a pencil, passport, and a brain wired for words. From Hong Kong hustle to boardroom brilliance, this is a rebel's journey through stories, sarcasm, and serious insight. This episode of The Rebel Rebel is brought to you by my book, Brand Jitsu. All right, forget brand theory. This is branding that punches above its weight. After 25 years helping artists, entrepreneurs, and businesses stand out, I wrote Brand Jitsu. Move your brand from meh to memorable. It's the real stuff, story, strategy, and sharp positioning that makes people pay attention. Find it at your favorite bookstore or online at brandjitsu.com. Welcome to The Rebel Rebel. I'm your host, Michael Dargie, and somewhere across the world, we're going to find out where. I've got Rachel Allen with me. Oh my God. Hello, Rachel.
Hey, Michael. How are you doing?
I'm so good. How are you?
Good. I'm so excited to be here. Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, I can't wait for this conversation. It's been a long time coming. To help people wrap their minds around the Rachel Allen experience, where in the world are you?
I'm based in Chattanooga, Tennessee.
That is so cool. I've always wanted to say
Chattanooga. Oh, well, there you go. Podcast done. We already won it. We did it.
Check that box. I don't think I've ever said that word, and it's been on my list.
There you go.
Huh. All right. So how's life in Chattanooga, Tennessee?
It's really lovely. We're just getting the weather starting to turn. We're in the mountains, so all the leaves are turning beautiful colors, and there's a river that goes through the middle of downtown. So it's in that sweet spot where it's still warm enough to swim if you want to, but also it's not too hot. So it's perfect.
Oh, that is so cool. And just to help catch people up, what is it that you do in the work?
So the pithy answer is I make words make money. And the more LinkedIn answer is I'm a fractional CMO and a marketing strategist.
Yeah. Awesome. And I guess let's ask this question right now. Where can people find you? We're going to put it in the show notes, but where do you want people to
so my website's boltfromthebluecopywriting.com, and I'm also on LinkedIn. And I also just always make the offer on podcast. If you just want to email me like it is the ancient times, you can email me at hello@boltfromthebluecopywriting.com.
What?
I know, right? Right. We'll carve it on little stone tablets and send it back and forth.
Here's the thing. I love writers, a whole lot. So, can we go? Did you always want to be a writer? Is that when you were 5-year-old Rachel, where you're just I'm going to be a writer?
I didn't even know that was an option, but also I didn't know anybody would ever pay me for that. But I also knew that I could not think or function or move through a day without a pencil in my hand. And so that's just, it was such the air that I breathed that I would have never been I'm a writer, but I was but how do you think without a pencil? I don't understand.
That's amazing. When I was a kid growing up, I always got in trouble from my teachers because I would always draw. I couldn't process information if I didn't have a pencil in my hand and if I wasn't drawing something while the information
totally.
came. Okay. So I guess I want to go back in time a little bit more and just I know you always had a pencil. But you didn't know you wanted to be a writer. What did you want to be? An astronaut?
I actually thought I wanted to be an actor. I really loved theater. I was a total theater nerd in school, and it was just so much fun, right? Because of course I'm always making up these stories in my head anyway and writing them down secretly in my journal and not telling anybody. But then being able to go on stage and just be somebody else and get into somebody else's head, that is so much fun.
Oh my gosh. Do you still do that today, or is that
I haven't done it in a long time, mostly just because I moved for about 10 years straight in 6-month increments. So I was never anywhere long enough to do that, but I love it. And I do also so much of it is still this, right? It's talking, it's communicating with people, it's standing up and being able to have an engaging conversation with someone.
Amazing. How did you, I guess the $1 million question here is that how did you figure out that words could make your living? When did that happen?
So I originally majored in theater and then didn't end up liking the company that I was with at college. And so I dropped out and decided to switch to journalism and Asian studies because I was okay, well, I know I'm a good writer. journalism. I'd seen a Cary Grant movie called His Girl Friday that's focused on journalism. And I was like, that's pretty cool. I mean, I could do that. So I was like, all right, I'll be a journalist. Sounds great. Did the whole thing, fancy grades, internship at NPR, blah, blah. And then graduated into 2008 and no one was hiring journalists, but especially not journalists in rural Tennessee.
And did you say Asian studies?
Yeah, I have a chronic overperformance issue, and so one major didn't seem like enough. And I was really interested in Asia, having never been anywhere really outside the country. So I just thought it was cool.
Wow. So a bit of a deep cut, and I don't know where your answer will live, but have you ever seen the show Firefly?
Yes. Speaking to my heart, yes.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. All right. So then the reason why I ask is because the predominant language of the universe is Mandarin.
Yeah. No, so that was coming out actually around the time I was in college. And so I would watch it and be like, I got that, speaking it. I can track that.
Amazing. And did you ever go?
Yeah. So actually, after I graduated, I sent out all these resumes, and of course, no one was hiring. But I ended up getting a job unpacking boxes at Old Navy on the 5 a.m. shift, and I was like, well, it's me and a bunch of other like liberal arts majors trying to figure out what we're going to do with our lives. And after about 6 months, I was like, you know what, this is not what I would like to do with my time. And so I thought about where's the furthest possible place on the planet from Tennessee, and that's Hong Kong. So I got on a plane and I moved to Hong Kong. Yeah. Didn't have no work visa because, 22 and didn't think about it. I just kind of bought the ticket and left. And so I had like $200 in my bank account and I had to make rent. And so I'm Googling like how to make money online because, it's 2008 and that's slightly less stupid than it is now. But this little like writing job came up and I was like so sure it was a scam. But also, who am I to turn my nose up at $3.25? So I took it. Right, exactly. In quarters, like. Yeah, but they actually paid me, and I was like, well, I think I'd like to do this. Yeah.
Crazy. And I guess the question, the tip of my brain is, how did you translate that from that global experience to what you do now?
So
what's the trajectory?
I mean, it was like, okay, it looks like it has a nice trajectory in hindsight. In the moment, it was like, I don't know, where do I want to live now? So as I started doing this and I started seeing that it was like possible to actually earn money this way, it's so addictive, right? Because it's like I can sit at home on my bed and type on the computer and people pay me for writing, which like I do anyway. Great. This sounds awesome. What? So I started like looking into how to actually do that as a full-time thing. And I just took like every job I possibly could and got really fast at it and wrote a bunch of really just very boring things about luxury French real estate and like dog costumes and cruise line lawsuits and like whatever you can imagine. Yeah, everything. I was like, I don't what a parole letter? Absolutely. Let me do that for you. Like, yeah, I would just write anything. And I had this like weird sort of convergence moment where I got about 5 years in and I'm like, making a living at this. At the time I was living on a Greek island, like living the dream, working in the morning, sunbathing in the afternoon. And I was miserable. I was so terrified because I was like, but like, this isn't a grown-up job. Like, I'm going to like work myself out of the job market if I keep doing this thing that's making money and that I enjoy. And so I had to finally decide. And I was like, okay, I'll do it. So I did a master's degree as my last ditch attempt at being a for realsies grown up, and then decided that I enjoyed the business stuff more.
Oh my God. Holy wow.
I know. I just handed you like a little clown car of information. I don't know how you want to pull that apart.
Oh my! Well, I mean, okay. How important is it, do you think, to travel the world?
Like acknowledging that, like, of course, there are logistical realities that have to be attended to. Everybody can't do it. If there were a way that everyone could do it, I think they should. Because it makes you realize things that you would have never thought, like constraints you would have never thought you had on your mindset and on your world. When you meet people from different cultures and then you see, like, oh, you know what? They're people just like me, but also their circumstances are crazy different. And of course they're going to do XYZ because, like, that's the world they live in. I think it's such a good thing for the mind.
Absolutely. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think that the more that we're
Yeah.
world citizens, the better
Yes.
humans we become. Absolutely. Wow. What's your favorite word?
Ooh. I don't even, that's like a Sophie's Choice situation. I'm not sure how to do that, but I can tell you my least favorite word. I've got to clear one of those. Yeah.
Okay.
My least
awesome.
favorite word is utilize, because people tend to use it when they want to say use and they want to sound fancy. And it's actually like, it has a use. Now it's starting to not mean anything coming out of my mouth, but yeah, exactly.
You can utilize it.
There is a place and time, which is mostly organic chemistry. It's a specific type of chemistry thing, but people use it when they want to sound fancy. Mm-hmm.
That's amazing. I love that you have a least favorite word. What's your, have you ever made up a word?
Probably. Oh gosh, I know a friend and I have a long-term joke that we're going to run a company called Bazillionaires Inc. So bazillionaires, I don't know if I made that up, but it's around. And I find myself often sort of mixing terminology from different cultures. So I grew up in very rural Appalachia and then moved everywhere. And then I did a master's in England and lived there for 5 years. And so sometimes I'll say something and I'm like, I don't know if that's a me thing or a somewhere else thing, or like I just smooshed it all together.
That's amazing. What do you worry about AI at this point with writing and these large language models? Is that a conversation you're having with yourself?
A lot of people ask me about it, and I'm not worried. Mostly because, so I have a friend, Sonia Simone, who she founded ProBlogger, sorry, and she's a copywriter as well. And she wrote this wonderful post that basically culminated in her saying, "AI wishes it could do what I do." You know, I've written millions of things and I'm, same. The way I see it is it functions very well as a marketing intern. And that's about the level it caps out at, right? It's like, sure, you can give me some weird ideas and some really mediocre copy that I can then edit. But to rely on it any more than that, it's just not going very well for the businesses that are doing that.
Yeah, fair enough. That's good. I it wasn't really on my list.
Everybody
of things
asks.
to ask about, but I think that, but I think it's a thing that we need to consider. And like a friend of mine, he created a graphic novel using AI as part of a thesis. Yeah, really, really cool to like sort of dive into and see what you can create with it. I think it's worth doing. What I've discovered though is that if you don't know story, if you don't know beats, if you don't know, language and pacing, I'm not going to say it's a uniquely human thing, but you can tell when it's not.
Yeah, and I think, I've seen people who have put a lot of work into training models that can then do that.
Yeah.
But again, that's the human thing that leads into it, because just as humans, the way we function in the world is through words and through story. I don't know if you ever nerd out on stuff like that I do, but George Lakoff wrote a book. I think it's called On Language and Metaphor, and it's like a really boring book about a really interesting topic. But if you can chew through it, he talks about how our brains literally like parse the world through the words we say. So even like things we don't think about, right? We say like, oh, I sit up. Well, up is tall and up is good and up is more, and I lay down and that's less, and very like foundational type things. Yeah, it's just crazy how our brains know these things. And so we know what a story is. We know what it sounds like, and we know when it's off. Even if we don't know why. We're just like, I don't know why, but I didn't like it. It was boring, or like it feels weird.
Yeah, it's missing a piece, whatever that piece happens to be. I did.
Nice.
Shameless plug. I wrote a book. It's got a lot of pages, and things like contrast and why that's important, and how your brain processes certain things, right? What's your favorite thing about Tennessee?
Gosh, there are a lot of things I like and a lot of things I don't like. I think my favorite thing, it's just
Mhm.
beautiful. I love the mountains. I grew up in the mountains of North Carolina, and so that's always just where my bones feel at home. Um, and it's just beautiful.
I
Yeah.
like that phrase. Mm. Do you have proper mountains there,
Yeah.
or are they low mountains? Like, and when I say proper mountains, like I'm on the edge of the
Oh,
Selkirk Range, like
yeah. No,
in
we don't
the
have
Rocky
those
Mountains.
mountains. I think
So,
that those are what I call the
okay.
ostentatious mountains, the show off mountains. So exactly,
We're
we have
trying
the
too
classy
hard.
mountain, the older ones. But yeah, we're in the Appalachians.
Gotcha. Um, what is a uniquely Tennessee
Mm.
thing that Rachel
I
does?
think it's so there's the storytelling element, right? Because my heritage is Scots Irish. It was a bunch of people who came over way back when, and storytelling and music and just words are such a big part of that. But I think something that's especially unique to here that I bring to it is like I will talk to anybody and listen to anybody's story. And I mean, I've done this I was once stranded at a gas station when a rental car broke down for like 8 hours. And I talked to like every single person in that place. Like I got to know everything about them. And I think that was probably odd looking back on it. But I'm like, well, I'm here and you're not doing anything. So like, tell me about that hoodie. What do you like about that? Yeah.
Oh my God. All right. Huh. It, yeah, okay. So if Rachel is,
Mm-hmm.
so you're in Chattanooga, there's
Mm-hmm.
a river that runs through it. There should be a movie around that.
Yeah.
And you're walking along the river and you're thinking to yourself, boy, Rachel, I really wish the
Mm.
world knew this one thing. What's the one thing
Just
that you
in
wish they
general,
knew?
not specifically about here, just in general.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. Just like
Yeah.
your
So I
worldview.
mean, my worldview is that humans have a unique capacity, presumably unique among the species. And I like new research is coming out, but I nerd out on this all the time. And we are able, presumably we're the only ones who are able to become more than the sum of our parts in creative ways. We can break the sandbox, whereas other species have different ways that they are creative. It looks like, for instance, elephants have a religious relationship with the moon. There's like rituals that happen around that, which is crazy. Yeah, I know, isn't that wild?
What?
I started with this
I
whole
didn't know that.
thesis of
Yeah.
like, no, humans are the only ones who do like certain things, and I eventually like chipped away everything else because some animal does some form of everything else except for this like way that we can envision a world that we don't yet have, and then we can build that. And so I find myself saying like all the time when people are like, well, that's just the way it is. And I'm like, no, like whatever it is not welded into the rebar of the universe. Like we made it. We can change it.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I think
That
about that
is
all the time.
amazing. Wow. Oh. Hmm. What is your what's going to be your
Mm.
opus?
Okay. So I thought it was going to be my business. And then I kind of like, I figured out how to win that game. I've gone as far in that I'm very comfortable with it and I enjoy it and I love it, but also it's no longer challenging in the ways that it used to be. Um, so what
Okay.
I'm working on sort of in the back of my mind right now, is a couple things. I've got a memoir actually that's about to come out, probably next year called Batshit. And another yeah. I was as part of all of this, so more information for the backstory clown car. I was raised by Christian nationalists and
Mm.
then grew up to become very much not that, but I thought I was crazy.
Wow.
And so it's this process of me realizing like, oh no, I am not in fact psychotic. I can't believe these things. So that's what the memoir is about. But yeah, so
Oh
that's the
my
next one.
God, I love it. How how therapeutic is it to write stuff?
It is the
Like,
best and worst thing possible. It's very therapeutic, and also doing it. It has this very visceral feeling of like information and like past selves really just being pulled out of me,
mm.
which is deeply uncomfortable and also very cathartic.
How did, and I guess the like a question that pops into my head is, as you're doing it, how do you check yourself to make sure that you're
Mhm.
not letting your ego dictate something that's more comfortable?
God, that's such a good question. Because that's the whole thing with memoir writing, right? Is like I have a writing mentor named Janelle Hanchett, and she says, look, you're the only one who has a voice in this book. So you have more of a responsibility to be honest about yourself and to be gracious to the people around you that are also in the book, because they don't get to contribute. And so that's what I think about. And then as you go back through, or as I went back through and edited, I realized that in my first draft, there were a couple places where I like straight up made stuff up. And it was hard because I had to be like, okay, what am I ashamed of? What am I trying to hide here? Like, why did I do that? That didn't happen. And of course I've taken it out now, but it was always something where I was like, oh, but that's embarrassing, or that's going to be weird, or people won't like me. And so you just have to go back and be like, but that's how it was. I am not a 100% all the time likable human. Exactly.
None of us are. Wow. Okay. That is really cool. That is really cool. What's the one thing you haven't done yet that you need to do before you?
Oh gosh, I have so many things. So I've got a couple more books lined up after Batshit, one of which is called Feral Wife. So that's the next one. And yeah.
Feral Wife. Oh my God, your words are so tasty to me. I love this.
So that's the story, basically growing up and not understanding what it is to be loved by someone, and then meeting this guy who just decided that he wants to spend the entire rest of his life loving the shit out of me. And I don't know how to deal with that. So that's what the book's about. But that's one thing. And then I have a sort of my self-assigned PhD that I'm working on of I really want to explore the foundational roots of Southern culture that have led us to this experience that we're all having now in our political system, in our country. And I'm like, okay, I see it all. And like 1732 is where this started. The Whiskey Rebellion, that's what you want to look at. And so I want to pull these pillars together and be like, look, it's not like the entire country went crazy all of a sudden. This is a long story that is now coming to a climax. Yeah.
Wow. That it's prescient. It's timely. That's damn. How important is whiskey to Tennessee?
Yeah.
A bourbon.
We do both, but bourbon. It's our core thing. It's our drink. It's what we do. I'm a big bourbon person. Bourbon in the winter and gin in the summer. But that actually served me. I was working at a speakeasy in London for part of the time, and people would buy old fashions because they wanted to drink old fashions with the person from Tennessee. And I was like, oh, twist my arm. I guess I will.
Yeah, and I was going to say, where's that accent? You've homogenized your. Right. Like it doesn't sound like you
well, when I first moved abroad, no one could understand me, and I ended up sort of, moving more towards this intercontinental accent. And then it varies depending on where I spend the most time. So if I'm traveling, it'll get even more sort of neutral. Sometimes people often think I'm Canadian, or it'll go towards, if I'm in England, I'll pick up the cadence of the words, if not the accent. And so people are like, I don't know where you're from, but that sounds weird and also somehow smart. I don't really know why.
That's really cool. Yeah, intercontinental accent, like in the acting world.
Transatlantic.
Gosh, what do we call it up here?
Good.
It's like the standard. Well, I think like when we're doing acting coaching, the standard American is what it is, which is the, like if you go Eastern in Canada, you get almost like a North Dakota kind of accent.
You
know what I mean? Like that kind of thing. You betcha. Yeah. But the further west you go, it's a little more straight and narrow, and again, you go down south.
Oh gosh.
You can talk with the Texans.
That's a whole thing.
Do you have a kid's book in here?
Well, I've done one for a client. I haven't done one for myself. I've written a fairy tale for myself. And then I wrote a kid's book for a client who they were a probiotic company, and they wanted a rigorously scientific researched rhyming book about gut bacteria for 5-year-olds. So I wrote that.
What the hell? I would love to see that creative
Yeah,
brief.
it was like
what
founder wants a book, make it happen. Also, nothing we put out can't have studies on it. So, yeah, it's like a little board book, and I had all sorts of rhymes for L. reuteri and lactobacillus. Yeah,
as one does. Oh my God. What do you do just for Rachel? What's a Rachel thing?
Gosh, there's a couple things. So I read all the time because, again, words. But one thing that I do that I really love that people seem to think is a little odd, is I go for walks in there's a cemetery down the road, and I go for a cemetery walk every day. And I just love it. Like, I've always kind of enjoyed being around cemeteries. I find them really peaceful. Yeah, I don't know. People think it's creepy, but I'm like, no, it's quiet. There's no one there. No one's going to talk to me. Yeah, and I just walk around, and it's beautiful.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Huh. It took me back to, I grew up just outside of Toronto in a little town called Pickering, and up our street, at the top of our street, was like a graveyard, and we used to go up there all the time and just sort of chill and walk amongst the tombstones.
Yeah.
Sometimes we do rubbings, like, because we're
I love
kids.
that. It's really peaceful, right? Like,
really
it's cool. Nice, and it's like a park, but also no one goes there, so it's perfect for very introverted me.
Yeah, I guess that's
very, very, very introverted.
You're an introvert? How do you deal with networking?
I either do it in short bursts, so I'll like smash it all together, and then I'll go not talk to anybody for about 6 weeks, or I find that the older I get and the more that I show up just absolutely not caring, the better it goes for me. Because if I have to put on my like, oh my God, hello, it's so nice to meet you face, then that's very tiring. But if I'm just like, hi, I'm here, I just got out of my cemetery walk, what are you doing? If I can be weird about it, then it works out really well.
What's your go-to thing to do with another human?
I mean, so the first thing is I'm going to ask them like whatever weird question is on my brain, because that's how I get to know people. I was once in on an Arctic cruise thing, and it was like, cruise table conversation, very, very polite and very like chit chatty. And I was like, okay, the only thing that I have to say is, if we get stuck up here, like for real, how many days are we waiting before we start eating people? And the entire table goes silent until one person thankfully was like, I'm a butcher, so I'm pretty good with a knife. And I was like, thank you. You get me. So the first thing I'll do is ask something weird, but I love hearing people's stories. I love learning about the thing like that they love to talk about, but everybody else thinks it's like really weird. I'm like, no, tell me the crazy shit. Like, what do you think about more than you should? Oh gosh, so many things.
You should.
World War I think about that a lot. I'm very interested in the history of that. I've been recently, this is going to sound like so like academic-y, but I've been recently interested in something I'm thinking of called pseudo-utopias, where like, if you look back through history, I know that's like, I make that face to myself when I think about it.
No, I'm down for it.
So if you look back through history, at like things that are happening now, or if you look at, for instance, like national psychology in Japan before getting into World War II, or even back in medieval times, especially right before wars, people start looking back to these imaginary historical times where things were better. And it's like, no, we just got to get back there. We got to get back like it was then. But it wasn't like that then. And we know this because we can now research it and be like, well, no, actually, it kind of sucked back then. Like, it's just this ideal time that we search for. And so it's kind of historic, as in like people did exist back then, but they just didn't exist like that. And I think it's really fascinating to think about, but also very dangerous, because if we buy into it and it's like, no, we just have to get back to the Edo period. We just have to get back to Homeric Greece. It's not going to happen, and it kind of sucks. So we just have to be with where we're at, Oh
my God! Wow, that's some deep thoughts. Damn. I'm just going to totally non sequitur for a sec and say pineapple on pizza. Yeah,
generally nay. Yeah, generally nay. Very occasionally I'll be like, let's just go crazy. But generally nay. Although I'm a thin crust pepperoni person generally. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, like fold it kind of thin crust?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Good to know. Good to know. I'm a thick crust.
I mean, I love the
cheese
cheese
as you can fit on that thing.
But not like you're not like a Chicago person, right? Because I might have to end the interview at that point.
Oh no, I have done Chicago. There's a place in Calgary called Nico's, like it's Greek pizza, and they have they do cheese pull Instagram, and it's just like
that's amazing. Yeah,
I get all
awesome.
Weepy. Yeah, you know, yeah. What's your favorite place to travel to? Like if you could go back anywhere.
I go to Barcelona about like every other year or so, and I just absolutely love it. Somewhere I've been that I haven't been back to yet is Bulgaria. I absolutely, yes, Bulgaria, but Budapest was what I was meaning to have out of my mouth. I like both of those places, but I would choose Budapest if I had to choose between the two. Yeah.
Interesting. And why
so
Budapest?
To me, Budapest is what everybody wants Paris to be, and I hate Paris. So it's like it's beautiful and it's quiet and everything is cheap. And when I was there, it was summer, so there were roses just all over the city, and crazy good art scene, like beautiful libraries. I really, really loved it.
Wow. I think you're living such a great life, Rachel. Like I know that we all have our ups and downs, and these peaks and valleys that we hit. But I love the fact that you've traveled. I love the fact that you have a least favorite word, that you play with words, that you have a global perspective. Yeah, I'm really thrilled by it. I'm not entirely convinced that thin crust pizza is proper, but I'm,
Great.
I do understand.
Like I like the crunch
so that
element of it. Yeah.
Oh, crunch is important.
Yes.
I like peanuts in
salad.
salad.
Yeah. Same. Almonds as well. I like to bash up some almonds and sprinkle them on top. Really good.
Yep. 100%. Yep. There are these people in the world, and you probably know them. I call them rebels in waiting. And these are the people that are, oh gosh, they're either just about to do something crazy. They're thinking about doing something crazy. They walked off the ledge, looked below, and they got an uh-oh sign. What advice do you have for these rebels in waiting to help them get to where they're going?
It's never going to be as hard as you think it is. Like things will open up for you once you take that decisive action. Things align in ways that you will have never imagined. And also, you are so much more capable than you can possibly imagine right now. It is going to be a never-ending series of problems, and you will love every minute of it. Yeah.
I love that answer. Outstanding. Oh my gosh. Rachel, where, again, just to tag us up, where can people find you?
So you can find me at boltfromthebluecopywriting.com. You can find me on LinkedIn, or you can email me at hello@boltfromthebluecopywriting.com.
Rachel, this has been
thank you so much.
I can't wait to do this again.
Thanks so much for listening to this episode. Hey, if you're an artist, scientist, entrepreneur, or business owner who wants a smooth and proven method to find, shape, and share your story with the world, head on over to brandjitsu.com and order a copy of my book, Brand Jitsu, Move Your Brand from Meh to Memorable. I've been your host, Michael Dargie, and this has been the Rebel Podcast. It's a podcast for creative rebels and entrepreneurs all over the world. And hey, if you're a rebel or you know a rebel, head on over to therebelrebelpodcast.com and fill out the guest request form. Thanks so much for listening. Until next time.